All right, welcome everybody. We're going to skip the songs today. It just does not seem appropriate given this horrifying school shooting that has taken place today in Uvalde, Texas, where as of right now, we believe 20 people have been killed. It is another 18-year-old shooter. Information is still developing. The shooter, apparently born in one of the Dakotas, and bought 2 firearms on his 18th birthday. And it's still early. As you all know, I often don't cover shootings until several days later because often the information that is released early is inaccurate or whatever the case may be. But what I can tell you is that we are seeing dramatically more weaponized disinformation being spread, including ideas like, for example, let me see where I have this. Hold on. From Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who said, well, maybe the solution we need to look at is arming the teachers. And think about that. I actually tweeted my thoughts on this. The solution to gun violence in schools is to give those terrible, irresponsible, critical race theory teaching indoctrinators who they've been attacking for years firearms with which to defend the classrooms. We're going to give these horribly incompetent teachers guns. That doesn't really seem to make sense by their own assessment, right? Let's listen to what Ken Paxton had to say. Here we go.
As you well know, the state of Texas, not a stranger to shootings that either begin in schools or wander into schools. I know your team has dealt with this before. What were some of the solutions? And I know that Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick have also come up with task forces to harden these schools so they're not easy targets, easy prey for crazy people who go nuts with firearms. What can you tell us has been talked about in the past? What has been implemented and what hasn't been?
Yeah, sadly, this has happened again, and it's a horrible tragedy. But the types of things that we talked about, and I'll never forget it after the Santa Fe shooting, was having one point of entry, making it more difficult for people even to get in that point of entry, make sure that and having potentially teachers and other administrators who have gone through training and who are armed, because first responders.
There it is. Teachers and administrators who have gone through training, who we will arm in the schools. I don't know, guys, but maybe we should at least consider some gun safety regulations, restrictions, and the reduction of the number of guns that are just floating around out there. Now, if you want to deal with mental illness, I'm fine dealing with mental illness. The Republicans never want to fund making mental health treatment more accessible, less expensive, encouraging people to seek treatment. They stigmatize and they say, we're not going to fund that. We're not going to fund this. That's communism, that's socialism, and on and on and on. So I'm fine saying, okay, let's consider that a lot of these shooters are disturbed, for lack of a better term. But you look at the Buffalo Shooters Manifesto, it's cogent and coherent fascism. Okay. And so I don't even know that if evaluated, that guy would have necessarily been like, oh, well, for sure, we got to take the guns away. We got to make it easier to take guns away when people, it's the red flag laws, as they're called. But the idea of it's simply a matter of mental illness, it's not. It's not. But if you thought it was, you should be doing something to deal with it. And they don't want to fund it, which is just incredible. So it is election night, okay? This is a complicated evening because it is election night. We're going to start looking at election results momentarily. In addition, President Biden is going to address the nation on this shooting momentarily, believed to be about 15 minutes from now. And of course, the CNN is going to cover it. But I always want to have a backup stream for you guys because I just respect the audience so much. So let's have that and we'll watch this. In terms of the early election results, let's take a look. Wait, this isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't it. Okay, so a lot of these won't be updating until now. Early on, the data with 16% in, Brian Kemp is obliterating David Perdue. Now, understand, this is a loss for Trump if these results hold. If these results hold. This wasn't supposed to start till 8 Pacific. No. It was scheduled for 8 Eastern. So I don't know what you're talking about. If these results hold, this is a loss for Trump. Trump touts this admittedly bogus endorsement record. Trump endorsed Perdue. Pence endorsed Brian Kemp. Now, Pence's endorsement was also horse manure. Pence swooped in at the last second and said, I endorse Kemp. Kemp was going to win all along, okay? But this would be a loss for Donald Trump. In Arkansas, in Arkansas, I presume Trump endorsed Sarah Huckabee Sanders. We don't have any data yet from there. I think she's expected to win easily. And in Alabama, correct me if I'm wrong, did Scrumps endorse Mo Brooks? I know Ted Cruz endorsed Brooks, but did Trump endorse Brooks in Alabama? Can anyone in the chat remind me? I just don't remember. I think he did, but he rescinded the endorsement. Is that true? Trump, Mo Brooks endorsement. Let's see. March 23rd, Trump rescinds endorsement of Mo Brooks. Oh, my God. Well, imagine if he ends up winning now. Trump will say, well, it was thanks to my temporary endorsement. So we're watching all of these results. There's some stuff happening in Minnesota as well. Although, to be honest, I'm not totally sure about the significance of it. First district special election. In Texas, there's a Democratic runoff. But the thick, meaty races today, in my opinion, are the Republican. Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me. Okay. Looks like some kind of audio test there. All right, everybody just relax. Oh, it's happening again. All right, we're just going to mute it. I don't need test tones. Look at the Pennsylvania Senate election. Oh, yeah, let's get those results and see what's going on. I'm just finding these for us. Oh, wow. Look at this, guys. Thanks, Pappy, for the heads up. They're still counting ballots in the Pennsylvania Republican primary. It has now gotten even closer with 99% of the vote in. The gap between Mehmet Oz and Dave McCormick is down to just under 1,000 votes. So I believe that there will be an automatic recount there anyway. And now they're arguing about whether or not to count mail-in ballots. It's crazy. Now it's not. There's not even a Democrat running, and they're still arguing about which mail-in ballots to count. So it's pretty wild and weaponized stuff. Okay, so we're trying to keep up with all of it. President Joe Biden is going to speak momentarily. Oh, did I say something wrong about what Sarah Huckabee is running for? I thought I said governor. Did I say Senate? Did I misspeak? She's running for governor, not Senate, if I said Senate. Okay, maybe people are just informing me. I don't know. Okay, very good. So we're standing by for Joe Biden. Worst mass shooting in a school since Sandy Hook. The Attorney General of Texas says we need to arm teachers. It's delusional. It's absolutely delusional what's taking place here. It's just absolutely stunning. CNN has Oz lead down to 901. Okay, yeah, that's roughly what we're seeing. Where was that? Pennsylvania. Here. I guess I should keep this over to the side. Maybe I'll put it. I'm just organizing my tabs for everybody, just trying to keep an organized stream for us today. I want to say thank you to Holly Grok, Liquid Ice, Cubamus, Nug Wrangler for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Really appreciate it. The streams are sometimes back to back to back at this point. Also, thank you to Kevin Gouldy, who just signed up using the coupon code Obamna.
Obama.
And also thanks to Connor Murphy, who just signed up on my website with that very same coupon code. It is going to be a very busy night. Indeed, we are watching election results from Arkansas, Alabama, and Georgia, plus a couple of elements from Minnesota and Texas. We're waiting for Joe Biden. Any moment he's going to address the nation on this horrific shooting that has taken place in Texas. Guys, I don't know how we stop this. There might be no way to stop the shootings. I mean, only this country has this problem. No other country has this problem. There's probably nothing we can do. We've also tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas. So you be the judge. You be the judge. Sickening. There's really no other way to put it other than sickening what's going on. We don't know anything about motive yet. We just don't know. No manifesto that I'm aware of at this point in time. But I mean, listen, we're following all of it. We're following all of it. Let me see what else I had. Some of the stuff that doesn't seem necessarily totally right for today. Here's one of the dads of the Parkland shooting who understandably just lost it today on MSNBC.
But for the next bunch of days and weeks, you have to get through this horror, because people failed. I'm done. They fucking failed our kids again. Okay, I'm done. I've had it. You know,
this is on MSNBC, by the way.
How many more times? Are we going to sit back? I'm going to listen to that governor of Texas talk about why he pushed to fight for laws in Texas that made it easier for the guns to be had by those who want to kill. How many more times? I'm sorry. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. But you know what? Tomorrow, I'm going to wake up. We're going to keep fighting, because as long as there's people like you and people like Senator Murphy, and, I look on the House, they're trying to pass things. I look at a president who will sign legislation that makes it to his desk. This was predictable, but it was also preventable. Sadly, the next one that's going to happen is also predictable if we keep doing nothing. And so I am begging Senator Cruz, I sat with you in your office 2 years or so ago. I listened to your nonsense. I listened to your BS. I listened to you explain to me why you thought we didn't need the bare minimum of effective background checks. March into Senator Murphy's office right now, tonight, and you be the Republican who says, I've had enough. Because
that's not going to be Ted Cruz. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the person who does it. Super Chat here says, remember that those Republican talking points about arming teachers and needing more guns came straight from the NRA. Yeah. Greg Abbott, listen to this, okay? The Republican governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, who wants more guns in more places, maybe armed teachers, certainly no regulations or whatever. He's scheduled to speak at the NRA convention this weekend. That convention should be canceled. If they had any shame whatsoever, they would cancel the convention. By the way, Scrumps is also scheduled to speak. So at the convention, they don't allow guns. I mean, guys, what the hell is going on in this country? Okay? School shooting in Texas. Governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general. No. More guns, no regulations. Okay. Greg Abbott going to speak at the NRA convention 3 days after this shooting, where they don't allow guns. Obviously, it would be unsafe to allow guns in there. It would let all those lunatics in there with these elected officials. It's really something else. I did tweet. Let me see where this was. I tweeted a little bit about the whole mental illness thing. It's just a very short thread. And this mostly summarizes my view. The mental illness element of gun violence isn't an either or. Yes, there is often a mental illness component, and we should make mental health treatment easier to access and affordable which most Republicans oppose. They call it a government takeover or socialist or whatever. That being said, most, quote, mentally ill people, which sometimes just means you like have anxiety, most mentally ill people are not violent and never commit any violent acts nor crimes. However, for the small percentage that does, if there are fewer guns around or they're more difficult to access, whatever violence they try to commit will be less lethal, right? If your argument is that today's shooter was mentally ill, great. Okay, let's fund mental health treatment, which they're opposed to. But if instead of, what's the number? 300 million guns or two? If instead of that number of guns around, there's a smaller number, it's just mathematically more difficult for that mentally ill person to find a gun. So why wouldn't we be doing that? And lastly, I said this is an issue of, number one, too much, too easy access to guns. Two, a culture that celebrates or at least plausibly is okay with firearms as a way to solve interpersonal or societal problems. That's unique to the United States for the most part. And untreated and undiagnosed mental illness as a result of the disastrous healthcare system, which, by the way, the people saying this is merely a problem of mental illness never actually want to fund. They never actually want to fund it. It's, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, guys. Okay. I want to say thanks to Juan for gifting a membership. Thanks, Juan. Yeah, it's a crazy day here. Also want to say thanks to Simon Reed for gifting a membership, and I'll give those away. We're going to be doing this for a while. Robin Mace, you get a free membership, and Dakota Giles, you get a free membership. Super chats keep coming in. I don't know how you keep your cool after this shooting. It'd be incredibly difficult for me. Keep up the good work, and thanks. Thanks, Dion. I want to know if Marjorie Taylor Greene loses. Oh, right. Is that, hold on, I didn't even see that here. Oh, so by the way, Herschel Walker has won. That's a Trump-endorsed guy. He seems to have he seems to have a brain injury and very, very serious mental illness. I'm not making fun of it. He seems completely unqualified in terms of his ideology, but he also seems to have some real issues, which have been talked about before. Trump endorsed him. Nobody talks about it. The guy won. It's crazy. Raphael Warnock won. Didn't have a serious challenger. Let me see where the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing is. Brad Raffensperger. Oh, this is another loss for Trump. Another loss for Trump. Trump, if I recall correctly, endorsed Jody Heiss, who's disgusting person, Jody Heiss. You might remember, of course, that Brad Raffensperger is the guy Trump asked for the votes.
I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
Okay. So that was another kind of vendetta endorsement for Trump. He lost that one. And where is, where is Marjorie Taylor Greene? It's not on here. Is her primary not today or what? I don't even know. I don't know what's going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Does anybody know? Like, does she even have a primary? I'm not even sure. I don't know what the hell is going on, quite frankly. It should be today, yeah, but it's not showing up here. Marjorie Taylor Greene primary. I apologize. We're just trying to keep up with everything. Georgia's 14th district. Oh, it's on a different page. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay, so we need to go to the 14th district here. 14th. Marjorie Taylor Greene, just absolutely crushing. Okay, so it's over. Marjorie Taylor Greene, in all likelihood, is going to face. Well, I mean, it's still early. They haven't called it, but it's probably over. It's probably over. Let's give it a little bit of time. Okay. And we are standing by for Joe Biden. Other super chats. I'm indigenous and I'll never vote unless they do something worth to make my people's lives better. I respectfully disagree with this perspective. If you never vote, you have no leverage. You have no leverage. The starting point should be, I'm going to vote and I'm going to make demands and I'm going to get involved. I disagree with this deeply. Imagine if extend this to its logical conclusion. Imagine if everyone who said, I don't feel represented now, so I'm not going to vote. You will never be represented because you're taking yourself out. It's a loser's game. That's absurd. It's sort of like when people say, I'm not going to vote because it never comes down to one vote. Like it's never come down to one vote. So my vote could never be the difference maker. Okay, right. But how many people think that? Many people say to themselves that. If 10,000 of them say it and stay home, now that contingent is responsible for an election going a different way. This is just the bare minimum, okay? The bare minimum. Disagree with it. Just disagree with it. If you're just joining us, it's an extremely busy evening in American politics. Disastrous mass shooting at a school in Texas, okay? As of right now, we believe there have been 20 deaths. That's 18 children, 1 adult, and the gunman, 18 years old, bought 2 guns on his 18th birthday. Look up Henry Queller, 28, in Texas. Okay, let's see. So if we look at Texas, where is that one? Queller. Am I missing it? Sheila Jackson Lee. A lot of unopposed here. Oh, here it is. He's getting absolutely crushed. Absolutely crushed. So it looks like, as of right now, it looks like incumbent Henry Queller is going to be removed. That's what it's looking like at this point in time. Okay. All right. I want to say thank you to Andrew Avdrums for gifting a subscription. I really appreciate that. You're number 9. I'm going to give that subscription away to Sandy Barker. I also want to say thank you to Colin Medhurst. Colin Medhurst just signed up at joinpacman.com and is new member number 10. And I'm not ignoring everybody on Twitch. Thanks to Masas Hero. But it's my HIPAA who has also subscribed. Those are numbers 11 and 12. Okay. Joe Biden expected to speak any moment, any moment. We're standing by. Other super chats. David, sir, what a sad day for humanity. My heart is shattered and I'm so angry. The only good news I have is I voted in the primary. Well done. Well done. Christopher says gun control seems entirely off the table. Do you think there's any possibility to very harsh forms of retributive justice for mass shooters? I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'm not exactly sure I know what you mean necessarily. Okay. But we have a sickness here in this country. Let me see if, oh, by the way, just like this isn't super on topic, but just kind of related to crappy people. This is video. I guess it's of a woman taking all the formula potentially to resell it. Let me see what this is. Someone sent this to me.
You have a whole cart. Look at this. Look at all this.
Because I need it
Look
for my
at the
baby.
shelves. You don't think I need it for my baby too?
You think I know you come and you get this one before? This
You
I know
just
come and
just
you get
cleared
this
the
one.
whole shelves of all of this
If you come
formula.
in, if you saw me, you take that because I'm paying for.
And I'm not paying for it?
I don't. Say
I
you're
am a
not paying
child
for.
at
I
home to
don't
feed,
know
and you
you're
just
looking
cleared
for
the
this.
you just cleared
At
the
least
whole.
You say, oh, can you share with me or something like that? Because this is, I saw in here, I'm buying. I don't know. You come
And
after me. I say, oh, I want to take that too.
Because I'm waiting patiently. Was I not
You
waiting
didn't tell me.
patiently?
I don't know. You get this
But
one.
still, this is the whole reason why there's a formula shortage. You take all the formula
Right.
off the shelf and buy it all at once?
Right.
You come after me. I don't know. You get this one.
That doesn't matter. I'm saying this is the whole reason why there's a formula shortage. You come and you buy all the formula at once.
Right.
And there's kids who need formula today who won't be able to get it because you...
I mean, do we need to just put a limit on the amount of formula you're allowed to buy? I don't know.
You just bought it to stock up. That's not your
I mean, there was one on toilet paper early in the pandemic.
problem, right?
And off she goes. Yeah. Pretty. I mean, there's just, you know, there's pretty horrible people. I don't know what else to say. It's just, how many problems, how many different problems do we have? It's absolutely insane. When is Biden speaking? He was scheduled to speak 5 minutes ago. I assume he will speak any moment. Here's our friend Juliet Kayem. She follows me on Twitter. She's very, very nice. Let's listen to what she has to say.
Not been reunified with their children, so they know who the parents are. But now each parent has to identify a child that may be unrecognizable and without identification. Oh. And I think it's important to be direct about and specific and detailed, however horrifying this moment is for these families, because that's what these families are going through. And we'll look to the motive, and we'll look to obviously guns and gun control. But we can't get sanitized to the horror of what's happening right now. That's what the delay is there's children who are unrecognizable, but only their parent can identify them. And
can you imagine?
You know, that's this moment right now.
And Juliet, on a scene like this, I mean, and yeah. I know this only because we've covered other school shootings as well. It's very likely these children are still where they fell and will be for some time, as this crime scene, as it is now, has to be documented and gone over.
Right. So we know from San Diego, look, I mean,
the shooter is dead. The shooter is dead, as based on every report that we have received so far, and from the report from Texas officials as well. Utterly insane. Utterly insane. In terms of election results, let's take another scan through. We're starting to get some results. If we look at Alabama, we see that we still have nothing from the Senate primary. Okay. If we look at Arkansas, we still have nothing on Sarah Huckabee Sanders. If we look at Georgia, we now have 17% of the vote in, now 21% of the vote in. And this is going to be a very, very big loss for Donald Trump. Donald Trump endorsed David Perdue, who's absolutely horrifying. Mike Pence opportunistically at the last moment endorsed Brian Kemp, who's also horrible, by the way, but less horrible. He at least wasn't willing to steal the election openly. Okay, so we're watching that. Marjorie Taylor Greene with a very big lead at 25% of the vote in her primary. The most likely outcome is that Marcus Flowers will win on the Democratic side, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene will win on the Republican side, and that will be the general election. And meanwhile, they are still counting ballots in the Pennsylvania Republican primary. This is from a week ago. We were all here a week ago. They are still counting ballots, and the lead is now under 900 votes for Mehmet Oz, a tenth of 1%. And I don't know if they're still counting ballots. They seem to have a very, very limited ballot counting schedule there in Pennsylvania. So I don't know if those numbers are going to change during the stream. But that we are going to monitor. And Joe Biden expected to speak any minute. So we'll be here for the evening following all of this. Thanks to Gingerdale for the Twitch Prime subscription. I really do appreciate everybody who's supporting us today. Over on the website, I want to say thanks to Nicholas Miller, who just signed up, Angelo Carlin, who's a new member, and Nick Fernandez, who just signed up. Those are new members 14, 15, and 16. And then a couple gifts to give away. Andrew Avdrums and Kay Shockey have just gifted 2 more memberships. I have 400 people waiting for memberships. I'll give away 2 more. Don White gets a free membership, and Gail Cardoza. If you want a free membership, just go to davidpakman.com/free membership. Okay. There's no trick to it. If you fill the form out twice, they're all deleted and you get nothing. Okay. And we just go in order. There's 433 people right now who are waiting, and I will just go in order. There's no trick to it. There's no trick to it. Just don't, Okay. Oh, and Gingerdale, it wasn't Twitch Prime. It was regular Twitch. And 33 months. Thank you, Gingerdale. Also, Towel C has subscribed with Prime. I appreciate that. And you have not missed Joe Biden speaking yet. It was scheduled for 10 minutes ago. He has not yet spoken. We are seeing election results come in, and we are seeing a lot of different things go on. Now, people are telling me that the Cisneros results are deceptive. Oh, wait. Okay. Wow. Well, now it looks tight. Now it is not clear at all now that Henry Queller is actually going to be removed. It is now almost 50-50 with 68% of the vote in. So it may ultimately come down to the wire. It may come down to the wire. We're going to keep an eye on that. We're keeping an eye on everything, okay? All of this stuff is breaking as we go. I want to say thanks to Cody Culp, who says, David, did Bobby Piton ever send you all his evidence he said he had on the 2020 election? He did not. It may come as a shock to you, but Bobby Piton, who told me, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be releasing all of the information about how Trump actually won Illinois, which it's like, of course he didn't. He never sent me the information. Some of you may be surprised to hear that. Others probably are not surprised to hear that. Do I want to look at... I have a ton of other stuff to look at, but I want to wait because there's just... We just need... There's a lot of stuff happening here. Ted Cruz proposes armed cops in elementary schools to deter shootings. Was this today?
We know from past experience that the most effective tool for keeping kids safe is armed law enforcement on the campus. You know, inevitably, when there's a murder of this kind, you see politicians try to politicize it. You see Democrats and a lot of folks in the media whose immediate solution is to try to restrict the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens.
I mean, wasn't the shooter a law-abiding citizen when he bought the guns and then he went and used them for crimes? I mean, that's the difficulty of the situation, right? Which is, if I understand correctly, from what we know right now, the shooter on his 18th birthday went and bought 2 guns. Here's kind of a weird question. David, are you comfortable taking or making money over the deaths of children? Listen, I have a stream and I have a YouTube channel. This is my job. Lots of the things we cover are negative events, and people are able to support what I do for whatever reason they want. I mean, we cover stuff. We were here on the day of the Trump riots. Was I making money from the riots? I mean, I have no control over these events. I think it'd be a different case if I was sensationalizing or responsible for these events. Maybe you would have a point. But you know, I mean, is Anderson Cooper comfortable making money from this? We know car chases generate revenue, right? I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird direction to go in. You know, and by the way, I would rather there be no shootings, you know, and would the audience be smaller? I don't even know, but I would rather there not be shootings. The subject of the news is incidental. Yeah, I think that's well said. It's kind of a weird, little bit cringy. I don't know. Will the January 6th hearings on Trump's coup affect the midterms? Should Dems make the coup attempt and Republican extremism a campaign issue? I don't know what's going to be presented at those hearings yet, but my plan is to stream them live. And then we'll make that assessment based on what there is. Thanks to Performance Gaming as well for the for the super chat as we stand by here for Joe Biden any moment. David, don't you know you're not allowed to work any day anything bad happens? Right. Yeah, no, if the news is negative, then I guess I either can't stream or we can't be compensated for the work that we do. I don't know. I don't know what people sort of expect. It's a little bit weird, I admit. A little bit strange. Let's see if I have anything else here. Oh, hold on. Let's go to, oh no, we don't want that. Oh, I can't, I've already addressed the whole mental health stuff So I'm not going to deal with that. Here's Steve Kerr, the coach of the Golden State Warriors, speaking about what happened.
I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly Black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California. And now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the
Yeah, sorry, everybody. I mean, you know, we've tried nothing, but we're out of ideas. And there might just not be any way to prevent something that only happens in this country. So thoughts and prayers, you know.
Devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm sorry. I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you.
But is he using his platform of basketball wrongly to talk politics? Yeah. And if his team wants to fire him, they can do it. And if you don't want to go to a Golden State Warriors game because of it, you don't have to go. He's got a platform and he's using it the way he wants to use it. I happen to agree with him. If I didn't, I could, I don't know, boycott the Golden State Warriors. Do whatever the hell you want.
Are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment.
This is Steve Kerr, longtime Golden State Warriors. Well, he's been coaching the Warriors for a while. Used to be on the Chicago Bulls, which I grew up watching. Does anybody remember what years Steve Kerr was on the Bulls? Steve Kerr, Chicago Bulls. He was with the Bulls. I guess it would have been for so let's see. Jordan was 91, 1993, 94, 95. For the 96, 97, and 98 championships, during which I was absolutely riveted. Some of the most fun basketball I've ever seen. Arguably the best team ever. I mean, has there been a better basketball team than the Bulls of 96, 97, and 98? Anyway.
Silence. Yeah, go Dubs. You know, come on, Mavs. Let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. You realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check.
Yeah. And even when Democrats had the House, Senate, and White House, it didn't pass.
Universal background check. 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want.
Yep.
They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
So there is Steve Kerr with, quite frankly, sometimes I joke and say that it was a powerful declaration, legitimately a powerful declaration there. And I support him using his platform for whatever he wants. And listen, if people don't like it, then just fire. You know, if the team doesn't like it, fire him. If the crowd doesn't like it, don't go to the games. Okay, everybody can vote with their dollars and tweets and whatever they want. This is what he chose to do. If you don't like it, then free market. Do whatever you want. Write him a nasty letter. Okay. Yeah, let's All right, let's take a look at some of the results here. Mo Brooks, there's almost none of the vote in. Okay, this is not even meaningful yet. With 0.1% of the vote in, Mo Brooks is losing, but it's so early. Still no data from Sarah Huckabee Sanders out of Arkansas. Brian Kemp has won. This is a loss for Trump. Okay? Trump lost.
Then he went, Donald Trump, yeah, Donald Trump.
Right.
And God bless the United States. And we will ban men.
Well, they're not banning men, but they've certainly not chosen the man Trump endorsed. Trump endorsed David Perdue. David Perdue has been walloped, okay? Absolutely crushed under the weight of Brian Kemp, and massive dumps of votes coming in for Brian Kemp. It's been called, it's over, Trump lost here. Okay? They are going to have to look very strongly at those machines, though. That's for damn sure.
We're doing a class action lawsuit against all machines.
So this is a loss for Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene still doing quite well. And we are monitoring the vote count in Pennsylvania from last week, although they may be done for the day. So that's the latest update on the vote numbers. Let me say thank you on such a crazy day. I appreciate all of you joining me here. I think we're close to 6,000 or 7,000 people so far joining me on all of our different platforms. Joe Biden's going to be speaking any moment. Thanks to everybody who's supporting today's stream. That includes Foulmouth, Ripper, Eat the Living, and Friendly Uncle over on Twitch. Very much appreciate that. Puts us at 23. I want to say thanks to Henry Guzman, who just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com, using the coupon code OBAMNA. And then I want to say thanks to Simon Reed, Blake Daniel, Alex Ross, and Derek Gwynn. Each of them has just gifted a membership, meaning they bought a membership on my website, but they don't want it. They're saying, David, sir, give it to somebody else. The 4 recipients are Richard Livengood, Terry Naylor, Sean Killam, and Liron Deline. Okay, appreciate the 4 of you, and really appreciate everybody signing up on the website today. Super chats coming in. Hello, David. I believe you may be missing your calling as a perfect debate moderator. You have a keen ear for what should and shouldn't be heard, seen, or said. Thank you. I appreciate that. Bay Photo says, sir, can you truth about Kemp's win on Truth Central? Oh, yeah. I don't know how many of y'all are on Truth Central. Truth Central, we might know it as Truth Social, but Trump calls it Truth Central.
Truth Central.
It's his own social media platform. I'm on there. I've signed up on Truth. You can see me there at dpacman. You might notice the website looks exactly like Twitter. They've just copied Twitter. I'm just posting my thing on here, even though it's all right-wingers. So let's make a truth. Wow. David Perdue absolutely crushed brutally by massive dumps of votes for Brian Kemp in Georgia. What a humiliating loss for the failed former president, Donald Trump, who endorsed David Perdue. Truly an endorsement to be flushed down the toilet 10 to 15 times. All right, guys, I just posted a truth to Truth Central. Yeah.
Truth Central.
President Donald J. Trump.
All right, there it is. So anyway, maybe I'll even tweet this as well. Just, I mean, why not, right? There we go. Okay, Joe Biden is going to be speaking any second, and we're going to be covering those remarks live. This will be on the shooting that took place in Texas, second deadliest school shooting since Sandy Hook. Okay, and I I hesitate to even call them solutions being proposed by Republicans. The responses include arming teachers and putting more guns just out there, just guns everywhere. Put them everywhere. David, keep up the good work. Can I please get an Obama? Makes me chuckle every time. Sure.
Obama.
There you go. Hope that did it for you. Yeah, many election results that we're going to be looking at. We've been following them. Let me see if I have. Let's see. I've got a couple voicemails on the shooting.
Hi, David. I am pro Second Amendment, but I'm sure you've heard 14 children have been killed by a...
I hate the phrase, I'm for the Second Amendment. It's like, we have a Second Amendment. Now we've got to figure out how to reduce gun violence. That phrase, like, the Second Amendment is. And, okay, let's listen to more.
Gunman in Texas and a teacher. What are we going to do? There is, you've said this a couple of times, and I completely agree, there is an epidemic of gun violence. But it's so corrosive that I feel like no one is safe anywhere. Everybody wants, so this is the thing. Okay, you want to have a good guy with a gun with a bad guy with a gun. Here's the bad news. I'm not convinced that there are any good guys with guns, okay? We see videos of Brazilians just randomly shooting, like those, a Brazilian will like try to rob a store, and some random dude will like shoot him, and he'll miss.
All right, let's go to Joe Biden.
Good evening, fellow Americans. I had hoped when I became president I would not have to do this again. Another massacre. Uvalde, Texas. An elementary school. Beautiful, innocent, second, third, fourth graders, fellow Americans.
Oh, God.
And how many scores of little children who witness what happened see their friends die as if they're on a battlefield, for God's sake. They'll live with it the rest of their lives. There's a lot we don't know yet. There's a lot we do know. The parents who will never see their child again, never have them jump in bed and cuddle with them. Parents who will never be the same. To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away. There's a hollowness in your chest. You feel like you're being sucked into it and never going to be able to get out. Suffocating. It's never quite the same. It's a feeling shared by the siblings and the grandparents and the family members and the community that's left behind. Scripture says, Jill and I have talked about this in different contexts, in other contexts. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. So many crushed spirits. So tonight, I ask the nation to pray for them, give the parents and siblings the strength in the darkness they feel right now. As a nation, we have to ask, when in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby? When in God's name we do what we all know in our gut needs to be done? It's been 3,448 days, 10 years since I stood up at a high school in Connecticut, a grade school in Connecticut, where another gunman massacred 26 people, including 20 first graders at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Since then, there have been over 900 incidents of gunfires reported on school grounds. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Santa Fe High School in Texas, Oxford High School in Michigan. The list goes on, and the list grows when it includes mass shootings at places like movie theaters, houses of worship, as we saw just 10 days ago, at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York. I am sick and tired of it. We have to act. And don't tell me we can't have an impact on this carnage. I spent my career as a senator and a vice president working to pass common sense gun laws. We can and won't prevent every tragedy, but we know they work and have positive impact. When we passed the assault weapons ban, mass shootings went down. When the law expired, mass shootings tripled. The idea that an 18-year-old kid can walk into a gun store and buy 2 assault weapons is just wrong. What in God's name do you need an assault weapon for except to kill someone? Deer aren't running through the forest with Kevlar vests on, for God's sake. It's just sick. And the gun manufacturers have spent 2 decades aggressively marketing assault weapons, which make them the most and largest profit. For God's sake, we have to have the courage to stand up to the industry. Here's what else I know. Most Americans support common sense laws, common sense gun laws. I just got off a trip from Asia, meeting with Asian leaders. And I learned of this while I was on the aircraft. And what struck me on that 17-hour flight, what struck me was these kinds of mass shootings rarely happen anywhere else in the world.
True.
Why? They have mental health problems.
Right.
They have domestic disputes in other countries. They have people who are lost. But these kinds of mass shootings never happen with the kind of frequency they happen in America. Why?
Correct.
Why are we willing to live with this carnage? Why do we keep letting this happen? Where in God's name is our backbone to have the courage to deal with it and stand up to the lobbies? It's time to turn this pain into action. For every parent, for every citizen in this country, we have to make it clear to every elected official in this country, it's time to act. It's time for those who obstruct or delay or block the common sense gun laws. We need to let you know that we will not forget. We can do so much more. We have to do more. Our prayer tonight is for those parents lying in bed and trying to figure out, will I be able to sleep again? What do I say to my other children? What happens tomorrow? May God bless the loss of innocent life on this sad day. And may the Lord be near the brokenhearted and save those crushed in spirit, because they're going to need a lot of help, a lot of our prayers. God love you.
Will you go to Texas, sir?
The president saying, may God
Sir,
bless the
will you go to
loss of
Texas?
innocent life on this day. Gloria Borger and David Axelrod join me here in New York. David, is it...
What a disastrous day. What a disastrous day. And I mean, think of the absurdity of Joe Biden is saying, we got to take control back from these lobbies, including, the gun lobbies, what he's referring to. And this weekend, Greg Abbott is scheduled to speak at the NRA convention. Okay, Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, where this happened, he's scheduled to speak at the NRA convention. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So, okay, we dealt with that. Joe Biden with a brief statement there. And in about 10 minutes, we're going to have a bunch more election results, and we're going to look at them momentarily. I do want to play a couple more of your voicemails, and then we're going to have additional results. I do want to say thanks on Twitch to Beef Stews, Katsuomo, Toxgo, MZ Frazzled, Sven Hout, So, Tool Fan, and Yo Samurai for the subscriptions. I really appreciate that. I also want to say thanks to Jody Elder and Desiree DeLong for signing up on my website. We're going to be here. We're going to be here covering all of this stuff, the elections, everything that's going on. And I would love it if you signed up at joinpacman.com. I'll shout everybody out, and we will continue coverage of everything that's taking place. Let's get the latest numbers. Mo Brooks has now, it's just half of 1% of the vote, so it's still very early. I don't know that we can glean too much from this, but Mo Brooks is sort of I guess you could say the cartoonish right-winger, although they're all kind of cartoonish. We're monitoring this. This is Alabama. In Arkansas, with 11% of the vote in, Trump's former press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, jumps out to a pretty solid lead. She's expected to win easily as far as I know. This is Arkansas. And then in Georgia, it has been called for Brian Kemp. Donald Trump endorsed David Perdue, the gubernatorial Republican primary winner, easily, is Brian Kemp. This is a loss for Donald Trump. And meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene, imminently going to be called the winner of her primary. She is 55 points ahead with 40% of the vote in. I believe it's over there. And Marcus Flowers on the Democratic side, also likely to win. In Minnesota, there's a special election. I don't know the significance of it, and we have no results. So my instinct is we're not going to be talking too much about Minnesota tonight. We also have this interesting race here in Texas's 28th district, where the incumbent Henry Cuellar is being challenged by Jessica Cisneros. It is very tight with 68% of the vote in. It is 51-48 right now. More like 52-48. You can't see the percents. I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, the right side. Oh. Sorry. Whoops. Okay. So sorry. These were the numbers we were looking at. I had the wrong element up on the screen. I apologize. Okay. So Marjorie's at 70% there. And then we're watching this one closely, and they are still counting ballots in Pennsylvania from a week ago. Okay. So we are following that as well. Super chats coming in. Always thank you for your lives. Thanks, Blueberry. Appreciate that. Sherman says Tucker Carlson is saying Biden is politicized the Texas shooting in his speech. Tucker Carlson's a horrible person whose opinions are worth very, very little. Let's just put it that way. This is Cameron Kasky, good guy I know, have met him before. Let's listen to what he's saying.
For which, of course, seeing that kind of empathy from a leader is certainly something we weren't seeing from 2016 to 2020. But Joe Biden is the president of the United States. There is a weapon that has been unleashed upon the United States, the creator of which has said is not meant for civilian use. And he talks about how sad it is, offers some thoughts and prayers, and says that it's bad that mass violence happens. And it's great that he thinks that it's bad, but I can tell you that gun control organizers, people who believe in gun safety, common sense gun safety laws around the country were waiting to hear the words executive order. And instead we heard the words essentially thoughts and prayers.
When something...
Yeah. Let me address something, guys, because something kind of ugly is going on. Earlier in the stream, I received a super chat that said, hey, David, I'm Native American, and I'm not going to vote until these politicians do something for me. And I said, I disagree with that. I believe that the way to get them to pay attention is by voting. That voting is the starting point. And I actually just respectfully disagreed. And I said I would reconsider that. I would say vote and also demand action. I got an email from someone saying, You suggested indigenous people who don't vote don't have a right to complain. No. You have every right to complain. I just literally never said that. I just didn't say that. Criticize me for things I've said, I didn't say, can you imagine? You Native Americans don't have a right to complain. That is in no universe anything I would ever say on this show. Anyone who knows me at all should, I would never say that. That is not anything I would ever say. What I said was, I disagree with the idea of saying, until politicians do things for me, I won't vote. I just won't participate. That I just think that that's bad strategy. I didn't say you don't have a right to complain. Everybody has a right to complain. And they're saying this person says I've disrespected, and you're misunderstanding or misstating what I said. Not something I would ever say. Okay. These parents are crushed in spirit in ways I hope I will never know. And I believe that for myriad reasons, we are a nation of crushed spirits. I know I am one. When the MX-5, the Army's replacement for the M4 AR-15, starts showing up at these vile events, the carnage will be much worse. It's much more powerful. Yeah. There seemed to be... Oh, I just got an interesting email. Actually, I think if you'll allow me, I think I want to mention. Let's see. Many parents seem more mad about masks in schools than guns in schools. Does that make sense? Is this the way you would word this tweet? Am I getting the idea across correctly? Or anybody have a suggestion for rewording this? People like it? Okay. No, some people are saying. Yeah. You would rewrite it. Many MAGA parents. Okay. Sounds like I'm talking about the parents who were victims today. Does it? I don't want it to sound that way. We'll bail. Okay, yeah, let's just bail on it. That's fine. Now, if people think it's no good, we'll skip it. I'm totally willing to be directed on that. It's not really a hot take. Everybody's aware of that. Yeah, fair. Okay, more super chats coming in. Let's see here. David, sir, deepest sympathies to the United States. Again, have Americans ever heard of referendum? They work. Ireland here is a testament to that in recent years. Okay, and thanks, Stephanie, there. All right, let's take another look at the election results. This was actually supposed to be an election results stream, but the shooting happened, and then Biden spoke, and then etc. Mo Brooks is still losing in Alabama. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is quite easily winning for now in Arkansas, but that's only with 15% of the vote in. Brian Kemp has defeated David Perdue in the Republican gubernatorial primary in Georgia. Brian Kemp was endorsed by Mike Pence. David Perdue was endorsed by Donald Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene easily winning her primary and will almost certainly face Marcus Flowers, although neither of those races has yet been called. And in Texas, we are very closely watching the Henry Cuellar-Jessica Cisneros race. It's a runoff in the 28th district. I'm going to refresh just because it hasn't updated for a while. And nope, it legitimately hasn't updated. Okay, there's just been no new data for a little bit. Fine. We're going to continue watching all of this. Okay, very good. We are standing by. Yeah, several counties have not yet reported. It's early. It's still early in a lot of these places for sure. Thanks to Blueberry Babe and IR Geek for the subscriptions and the gift that puts us at 40. I also want to say a big thank you to Steve Hoyt. Steve just gifted a membership over at joinpacman.com. I really appreciate that, Steve. I'm going to give that membership away to, who is it here? To Vilma Queller, presumably no relation to Henry Queller. Vilma Queller. If you want a free membership, just put your name in at davidpacman.com/free membership. And then if you're able to gift a membership, you can do that on my website, joinpacman.com. When you go through the sign-up process, just check the box that says, is this a gift? Make sure to get yourself a membership before you give any away. And you can use the coupon code OBAMNA to get a discount. I think the normal prices are very reasonable, but by all means, anybody who wants a discount can take a discount. And the website where all of that goes down is joinpacman.com. David says, I made a Troth Essential account and instantly got followed by almost 24 accounts. Looks like bots are running rampant there too. We'll see how long my account lasts. It's called Trumper Tantrum. Yeah, let's see how people are responding to my message I put up here.
Troth Essential.
Yeah. Troth Essential. So true. I'm watching your stream. Obama may need a 16th flush. What's that make Trump 81-3? Yeah, real loser numbers, loser. Wait until you hear the real Brian Kemp story. Guys, does anybody know what the real Brian Kemp story is that isn't being told? Anybody have any idea? Sort of curious. Troth Central will censor Trump's bigly loss. Will Trump endorse Abrams? Dumps, stop the machines. That's a popular one.
We're doing a class action lawsuit against all machines.
There it is. Love the stream. The hell is this? I don't even know what this is. That was weird. All right, we're going to get away from that. It got a little strange at the bottom there. We're going to get away from that. Okay. Yeah. Couple other voicemails coming in about the shooting. Here's the Eggman.
Hey, Dave. I don't know why Biden has such a low approval rating. I approve of Joe Biden's job in office right now. I just watched him speak after the shooting in Texas, and I have to tell you which shooting. And he talked about losing your child.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Tomorrow on the show, I'll have to say, we have to talk about the shooting, but I don't mean the Buffalo one. I mean this other shooting.
And, you know, referencing his son or his daughter for that matter. And I don't know. He's not a bad guy, and I can't imagine a Republican president getting up there speaking to America like that. I hope he doesn't run again, but, you know, he's doing a good job. Shalom.
Yeah, I mean, who's the last Republican president who could speak with some empathy? I mean, I guess in some way George W. Bush had a little bit of a way about him where he seemed mildly able to empathize, mildly. Yeah, Bush kind of did it. People seem to. I mean, it was great. A lot of the things he had to show empathy for were disasters of his own creation, like sending people to Iraq on the false premise that Iraq had something to do with 9/11 and had weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, no, it is something. Here's another. Let's see what's going on here. Another call about. I'm kind of pre-screening some of these because with something so sensitive, I don't want to air something crazy.
Hey, David. This is Nikki, Colorado. I watched today's podcast in reference to the gun violence, especially what we saw in the news this morning in Texas. And I just wanted to give you a quick call to let you know that I found on it's elections.bradyunited.org. There's a really interesting little section here that says which senators have taken the most NRA money. And it has a list, you know, of all the Republican senators, all the senators that have gotten money over the years. And then it has this cool little tweet them button that you can click that button under whichever senator, and then it takes you straight into Twitter, and then you can then automatically tweet this really, really cool tweet.
Okay, all right, that's something to look into. Yeah, that's something to look into. Okay. I think, okay, I've got one more here.
Hello, David. Sorry if I am emotional. This is Anna from Miami, the Argentinian from Miami.
Yeah, Anna's Argentinian, but she's in Miami.
But I'm again in horror, and I just want to tell you something that, of course, you won't be able to air this message, and it's not my intention.
Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to air this? All right, I guess if she doesn't want, I mean, we say on the voicemail, if you leave a message, it's eligible for air. Don't call if you don't want it. With peace and love, Anna, please don't call if you don't want it aired. The whole point of the only point of the voicemail line is to air the voicemails, but I'll just because it's normally I would pre-screen it, but we're just going to move on. Okay. Robbie says, watching Dallas, Texas results for U.S. Congress, Jasmine Crockett is winning, and she has Bernie's endorsement. All right, we will check that out. Saw some encouraging demographic changes leading into 2024. Could you investigate? Okay. I will look into that. Okay, not going to do stock advice here. Sir, my reply to your troth was already taken down. They're canceling me on the free speech platform. Yeah, there's not as much free speech on Troth Central as some might imagine. Thanks to Bo Staff and Brains as well as C Missile for the Twitch subscriptions. Very much appreciate that. Also, thank you to Midnight Hunter, who just signed up at joinpacman.com and is new member number 44. And Steve Hoyt, who just gifted a subscription. That's number 45. That subscription goes to Gia Oris, who has requested a free subscription, which I very much appreciate that. Right Side Broadcasting has just gone live at loser David Perdue's party. Wait a second. Let's see here. Right Side Broadcasting. This I have to see. Oh my God, it's over. It looks like they canceled the stream.
A lot of
this I have to see. Let's see.
Your bad side.
You know, and he's very professional, but he's very sharp-tongued, and so we want to wish him luck as well. As
they were going to be live all night from the Perdue victory party. Perdue got crushed. Did they just bail?
Coming up on his programming note, like I said earlier, Liz and I will be in Casper, Wyoming this Saturday for President Trump's rally there in Wyoming. A few more, I think, are going to be announced here in the short days, so we'll keep up to date on all of our social media as President Trump's on the campaign
convention.
NRA convention
in Houston. That is on the 24th. So we're looking forward to.
Today's the 24th. Can you imagine after what happened today, Trump's going to go speak at the NRA convention? Oh my God. So does anybody know what happened? Did they just cancel the stream because their guy lost?
Bringing you President Trump's speech from that as well.
Yeah, and once again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all of the families affected by the shooting earlier.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families affected. Trump will be speaking at the NRA.
Today in Uvalde, Texas, just in the South Texas, along the border there. Confirmed dead, obviously, multiple casualties and children and adults. So we want to thoughts and prayers on that and continue to pray for that. And I would imagine that conversation is now going to be injected into the political discussions of.
Well, yeah, because we've got to do something. I mean, are the thoughts and prayers prophylactic in some way? If people prayed correctly, would it prevent the shooting, or do we only pray after the disaster? Maybe we could do something to prevent some of these.
Of gun control and the need for gun control, and that's going to be the pounding of the drum probably until we get to November. But I heard a great stat the other day, Liz, and I think I told you this earlier. Out of all the gun mass shootings we've ever seen, not one NRA card holder has done it. These are. Can I say? Oh, I almost slipped. These are punks. These are disgusting, demonic people. Yes, they're not card
Oh my God, this is beyond parody. I can't believe they're doing this.
holders of the NRA. So let's get that clear. It's not rifle gun owners, but that.
By the way, most gun owners are not NRA members. Number of NRA members. At the absolute most, like 4 years ago, it's believed the NRA had 5 million members, and it's believed that that number has declined. So why does it, I mean, most gun owners aren't NRA members. Why does that even matter?
That is a great program note for Friday. We'll be live in Houston for that. And then, of course, on Saturday, we'll be in Casper, Wyoming. And then follow us on True Social and Getter. I mean, let's go.
Savalasone Truth Social? What the hell did he just say?
Go ahead and give our handles out for people that want to. We'll continue to push out these notifications throughout the night.
Absolutely. Our network is at RSB Network on Getter and Twitter, and on True Social, it's just at RSBN. Our personal ones on Twitter is at Liz Willis _, and on Getter, it's at Liz Willis. Truth Social, it's at Liz. I'm sorry, I made it difficult, but you're at Brian Glenn TV across all platforms.
Yeah,
right?
and then it's at Brian on True Social. We got kind of lucky on True Social. We got in there really, really early, and I was able to get just to at Brian. So it makes it really
cool
simple.
Not to do it, right?
It's cool. There's only one at Liz in the whole entire world.
I
That's
feel like
you.
it should go to his.
So the reason we're watching this is they were going to be live at David Perdue's results thing, and David Perdue lost, and it looks like they already called it a night.
Deputy.
Well, you would give it up. You would
if
willingly
she
give that
for
up.
It, I would give it to
Yeah,
her.
and I would give it up to anybody else at Brian. But we're so glad you're joining us tonight. Once again, share this broadcast as it's over. And tag a friend, because Liz, you and I meet a lot of people.
William just emailed me saying that he was watching Right Side and that they shut down the stream saying they were taking a quick break. Okay, well, did they say that and just cancel?
Throughout our career and going to different states and different cities and people, we want to make sure that people get the information that we have. So tell a friend, tag them in a conversation, tell them about Right Side.
Yeah, and come out to a rally if we're at a city.
All right, anyway. So I guess they just bailed. Let's see if they're going live again. No, it doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. It seems like they just bailed on the entire thing when their guy lost. Wow. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty wild. Oh, here's info on the Texas 28th, which we're following.
So much, James Homan. Let's go now to Mary Beth Albright, who is tracking redistricting changes around the country and has more on.
We missed it, but we have the numbers there. Jessica Cisneros just slightly ahead of the incumbent Henry Cuellar by 1.6 percentage points. That is very close. It has now gone official. Marjorie Taylor Greene has secured the Republican nomination in Georgia's 14th district. She will likely face Marcus Flowers, although the Marcus Flowers race has not yet been called, but probably. Brian Kemp, not endorsed by Trump, in fact, opposed by Trump, has won easily in the Georgia Republican gubernatorial primary. Sarah Huckabee Sanders inevitably will be the winner in the gubernatorial Republican primary in Arkansas. And Mo Brooks, it's not looking too good for Mo Brooks in the Senate Republican primary in Alabama. So we're watching a lot of these different races and different things happening in different ones. Let's look at some other super chats. Just bought the domain Troth Sensual. What should I do with it? Do you want it? Nah, I'm just too busy. Make a satirical fake Truth Social. That'd be kind of funny. If you do something with it, let us know. Thanks, Jesse, for the super chat. Don't forget the NRA recently reincorporated in the great gun freedom state of Texas. Yes, they did. That's very true. They did do that. Okay. Let's see a couple other voicemails coming in.
Hi, David. I was calling about the gun reform. If we can't do gun reform, can we possibly do ammunition reform? Maybe make it like tantamount to having a live boy or dead girl in your trunk, like some legal rule on ammunition.
You know, I've researched that quite a bit. There are many, it's one of those disagreements where many claim that the right to firearms includes the right to ammunition for those firearms. That the firearms with no ammunition, it's not like if you make it insanely difficult to get ammunition, that it would violate the Second Amendment is the argument that's often made. I'm not a lawyer, so I've just read those opinions that you can't make it. One idea is like make the Chris Rock idea, make the bullets $5,000 each, and then you'll be damn sure someone deserved it if they get shot, right? That was a joke that Chris Rock had years ago. From what I've read, it would be considered a restriction on the Second Amendment to do that, because it would place an undue burden on gun owners. Yeah, I know what you're getting at there. Let's see what else we've got here. Juan called in.
Hey, David, it's Juan. It was kind of hard for me to figure out what to say about the shooting. It's certainly something that shouldn't have happened, and
True.
I support the Second Amendment, but I don't support just this type of stuff.
Who does?
And I don't have a gun. I never intended to have a gun, and I don't plan to have a gun. It's sad, and I'm thankful in a way that I don't have kids. Anyway, have a good one, and consider unbanning me from YouTube, man. I made some stupid comments a while back.
Yeah, Juan, I already told you we will unban you from YouTube, but you've got to email us a link to your YouTube profile, okay? So you've got to email info@davidpakman.com with a link to your YouTube profile. If you do that, we will be able to unban you, okay? Do we know if the Texas shooter had a manifesto, or is the motivation unknown? As of right now, no, I am not aware of any manifesto. I am not aware of any known motive as of right now. Okay. If we learn anything else, we will have it for you. Thanks to Actual One, Hersafat, Eldoc, Boshimonos, Margot Cabot, Kristen Gooding, for the Twitch subscriptions. That puts us at 51. I really appreciate that. I also want to say a huge thank you to, I can't tell if it's Jan Kaiser or Jan Kaiser, but either way, I appreciate you signing up at joinpakman.com, and your new member number 52 today, 52. And I invite you to sign up on my website, joinpakman.com. David, big Canadian fan here. Keep up the good work. Voices like yours are very important to your democracy. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Let's take a listen to what's going on here.
And I know we've talked about mental health, but the children who survived, the families who did not lose children, as well as those that lost them, but the police officers that had to respond and then process the scene. I mean, this is horrific. I mean, every aspect of this particular case, there's just absolutely no question about it. This is something that people are going to struggle with for a very long time. And sometimes you hear people talk about healing. You don't heal from stuff like this. You just don't. And I think it was Juliet that mentioned earlier, there are many people that, when they watch television, they see crime scenes. Those are sanitized versions. You work the street, you see what it really looks like. And I can only imagine, unfortunately, weapons as devastating as assault rifles ripping through the bodies of children and the kind of damage that it causes and what that scene has to look like. I mean, this is something that, believe me, people need to understand just how devastating this is. And hopefully there'll be some action taken, although I'm not optimistic that there'll be any action taken, unfortunately.
Juliet, I mean, just over a week ago, 10 people were killed in Buffalo, as you mentioned. I don't even know if it makes sense to talk about trying to protect targets like this. But I mean, again, we're talking about schools and we're talking about a supermarket. So to call them targets, I mean, everything by that definition is a target.
Right. I mean, life is a target when you have this kind of weaponry out there, and that is, that's the reality. And we sanitize it. I mean, I sanitize it. I say killer and not gunman. It's a gunman. I mean, it's someone who uses a gun to kill 18 children, who, as Chief Ramsey was reminding us, as we've been all reminding us, what is happening right now? It's 9:19 p.m., and we haven't had really a very good press conference. I'll tell you what's happening. There's 18 little bodies that have been destroyed and decimated, and I'm going to be clear here, by a gun that is meant to do that. But these are young bodies, and they do not have identification. They're not carrying wallets, and their parents know that they haven't survived because their parents aren't unified with them. And their parents, as every parent knows, is the only person who can probably identify that child right now. The birthmark on the thigh, the crooked toe, whatever it is that we know about our kids that no one else would know, that wouldn't be in a sanitized medical report. And that's what's happening. That's why it's 9:20 p.m. and the three of us have been on air for, I think, about 7 hours. And I just have to say it again. And this is what's happening inside that room. And when we talk about the gunman's motives and guns, that's all important. And it's important because this is what happened. I mean, this is our American rinse and repeat. This is what we do.
And CNN is reporting that Meta, formerly Facebook, is in contact with law enforcement and took down an account possibly associated with this gunman. We don't have much more information other than that. We know in Buffalo there was...
All right, so a lot of different types of comments and speculation and different things going on here. Completely horrifying stuff. People continue calling in.
Hello, David. This is Aaron, and I think an assault weapons restriction, just the age of 25, would pass pretty easily. And they're talking about bans, and it never happens because they overreach. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Yeah, I just don't know that Republicans would go for anything. I mean, very obvious things. Just Republicans don't go for it. It's just not that simple.
Hey, David, this is Jake from Pennsylvania, and just watching all the information going on about another mass shooting, and already seeing the rhetoric going on for people on the right. And as someone who was raised in a very Christian, red, rural area in Missouri, I can tell you that so much of these people that lived in these areas were fed from the church, local officials, everybody, and that the only people doing these mass shootings or committing these types of crimes were either immigrants or they were people who some literally believe they're possessed or influenced by the devil.
Yep. Yeah, this is the story they tell each other and themselves.
And that they were mostly Democrats. And the only way to fight against it was to...
Okay, they got cut off. This is why I sewed military-grade bulletproof armor plates into my kids' backpacks. I don't know if Chase is... How depraved is the situation in the United States that I don't know if Chase is kidding. Like, if a Danish viewer said that, I would go, obviously you're kidding. No Danish parent feels the need to sew military-grade armor plates into their kid's backpack. But the fact that this is an American, presumably they're sending the super chat in US dollars, I don't know whether that's a joke. Maybe they did. Maybe they did make a sort of bulletproof shield out of their kids' backpacks. They sell backpacks that are armored. Yeah, I've seen that. Somebody plagiarized your tweet on Twitter. There's like 1 billion people on Twitter, so that's not super useful. You're also not telling me which tweet. So unfortunately, that's not a very instructive super chat. We're going to take another look at the election results in 6 minutes at the bottom of the hour. I want to say thanks to puppy.exe for the Twitch Prime subscription. You're subscriber number 53 today. I also can't tell you, I am flattered and inspired by the people that are signing up on my website today. As some of you saw me tweet earlier, we are in the crosshairs of big social media again. Instagram, for some reason, completely unbeknownst to me, has sort of limited our account because we share COVID disinformation. And the videos that they've identified as sharing COVID disinformation are actually videos in which I debunk disinformation. So we're now limited on Instagram, another tool where we are, I mean, listen, they should limit COVID disinformation on the platform. We're debunking it. Okay, so now we got to try to deal with that. So in any case, I'm really appreciative of everybody who's signing up. Tucker McCloskey is a new member on my website. Robert Wagner is a new member. Janice Daly just signed up. And Kurt Feldman is a new member at joinpacman.com. That puts us at 57 for the day. I also want to say a huge thank you to Simon Reed. Simon has just gifted a subscription to someone else, and I will give that subscription to the next person in line. And that's Michael Rose. Okay, Michael, you'll get an email in the next day or two telling you how to take advantage of it. And Simon gifting one more, that's number 59. And I will gift that one to the next person in line, and that's Paula Allen. All right. Thank you, everybody. Very, very much appreciate that. Let's see here. Why was the Texas shooter aged 18 shooting in an elementary school with ages 5 to 11? There doesn't seem to be a link. That's actually a very good question. Has anybody seen that addressed? Like, in other words, we watched the Steve Kerr response earlier. Yeah. Is anything even known about the connection? We just don't know yet. It's too early to tell. I think that's the issue. It's just too early to say. The gunman shot his grandmother before attacking the school. I did see that. Maybe we should have supported Beto more, myself included. Biden has been handling the speeches consistently well, but come on, man. I think I've got that.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I think Biden did fine. Why isn't every commentator on TV saying nothing is happening with gun control because of the GOP? Everyone needs to call them out. Biden did not call the Republicans out by name. Disappointing. Agreed. Agreed 100%. Kemp winning should be good for Abrams, no, unless Trump endorses Kemp. TBD. I think it's just too early to say. I don't think we can say that with certainty at this point. Let's listen to some of the coverage on Washington Post. They're at a bunch of the different results, watch parties, victory parties, etc.
President of the United States. Libby?
All right. Thank you so much, Carmela Boykin. Let's bring Michael Shearer into the conversation, national political reporter. You know, Michael, as I watched some of the ads coming out of Georgia, Governor Kemp was in the same breath bashing Perdue and Stacey Abrams, right? Two people who couldn't be farther from each other on the political spectrum. But he's been gearing up for the general election, as we're hearing his supporter talk about already for a while before even getting through today. I want to hear from you about the concerns that some mainstream Republicans have had about President Trump and what some have called his personal vendetta tour. Talk to us about what the personal vendetta tour is and what some of the mainstream Republican leadership has been concerned about.
Well, you know, we're seeing just this month real institutions of power within the Republican Party stand up and push back on the former president for the first time since, at least to this extent, since shortly after the January 6th insurrection. The Republican Governors Association came out strongly against a number of the president's endorsements.
All right, so we basically know all of that. Okay. It is the bottom of the hour. Let's get to where the results stand as of right now. Mo Brooks has closed the gap with Katie Britt in Alabama's Senate Republican primary. Okay. In Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Trump's former press secretary, continues to lead by a roughly 4-1 margin over Frances Washburn. She will almost certainly win. Brian Kemp, endorsed by Mike Pence, has won the Georgia Republican gubernatorial primary Very important race. Trump endorsed Perdue. This is a loss for Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene has won in Georgia in the 14th district. She will in all likelihood face Marcus Flowers in November, who is easily winning the 14th district Democratic primary. In Texas, I am still seeing that Jessica Cisneros is ahead, but someone told me that CNN has it differently. They don't have it on screen. Let's see if I can find that. CNN, Texas 28th District primary. Let's see what they show. That is absolutely true. They show with 63% reporting. Well, the thing about that is, if we look at the CNN numbers, it's with less data. CNN says with 63% reporting, Queller is ahead. He's the incumbent. Whereas Politico with 70% reporting says that Cisneros is ahead. So I think we're just going to have to wait there. It seems, I mean, both of these are very, very close. And we're just going to have to wait and see there. Okay, yeah, some random person is copying my tweets. I don't care. That's fine. Please open the chat feature, new subscriber, says Callie. I don't know anybody know what that means? Callie says, please open the chat feature, new subscriber. I have no idea what that means. Okay. I want to say thanks to Steve Hoyt, who just gifted a membership, Steve Hoyt, who gifted another membership, and Steve Hoyt, who gifted a third one. Steve gifting 3 memberships. I'm going to give those away. They just go in order. I'm not picking. Okay, hold on. Michael Parkinson, Trevor Cassells, and Tony Smith all get free memberships thanks to those gifts. I appreciate that very much. Oh, this is the same guy, Fred Gutenberg, who was on MSNBC earlier. Let's take a listen.
Well, sadly, now too many parents know this is a particular kind of loss.
Yeah. It's violent. Anderson, I'm a father who hopes his daughter died instantly. Because if she didn't, that means she suffered. That's the reality of loss to gun violence. And I'm a father because I know the details. I live with my daughter's final seconds seared in my head. I was on the phone with my son, convincing him to run because he wanted to turn around to find and save his sister. And while I was on the phone with him, he heard the bullets that killed his sister. So yeah, gun violence is different. And maybe that's why the failure, and I'm going to call them out, it's the Republican Party.
At least this guy will do it.
Maybe that's why the failure to do anything is so despicable, so evil. Maybe that's why the news that the Texas governor, lieutenant governor, the Texas senators are all attending the NRA convention this Friday,
right,
hurts so much.
Yep.
Because they have every opportunity to change direction. They've had every opportunity for years, but they haven't. And so, listen, I just want to say this. My friend, Senator Chris Murphy, has been heroic today. I have hope that someone in the Republican Party or all 50 Democrats will band together and finally do something, because the failure to do so only means the next time there's a really good chance it's going to be someone they love.
Right.
You have gone to Congress. You have sat in, correct me if I'm wrong, in Ted Cruz's office.
Yes.
Talk to him. What do you say?
Ted Cruz, He should resign. You know, after the previous instances that have happened in Texas, he has minimized. He has made excuses. He has blamed everything but the gun. And he has sat with me where I have told him, I have no issue with the Second Amendment or legal lawful gun owners. I have an issue with the ability of those who intend harm to themselves or someone else to get weapons. And he knows doing something about gun violence is not an affront to the Second Amendment. He knows doing something about gun violence doesn't involve people walking into people's homes and removing all of their guns. Okay, he knows all that, but he shares the lie because he is supported by a profit-making lobby. I have no faith in him. I have no faith that he will be the one to do the right thing. I certainly hope he will, but I'm not counting on it. But there are others who I think might. And I do hope in this moment, you know, I saw Mitt Romney putting out some messages of alarm. I've spoken to Mitt Romney, and I've heard Mitt Romney, after I spoke to him, say, we're not going to do anything about guns in this body. I hope today Mitt Romney changes his mind.
Doubt it.
Fred Gutenberg, I appreciate your time tonight, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Next to precisely the question of what, if anything, lawmakers might be able to agree on this time.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's sort of like, just to bottom line it, if it didn't happen after Sandy Hook, then is it ever going to happen? I don't know. I don't know. A Badge asks, wouldn't it be quicker to gift memberships automatically rather than manually approve them? Yeah, unfortunately, it's a new part of our system, and I just don't have that ability. We are working on some updates to the website, and that will certainly be part of it, but I don't have that ability right now. Thanks to Rated Roy as well as Nikki for the Twitch subscriptions, numbers 63 and 64. Voicemails are pouring in about what's happening electorally and what is happening with the horrible, horrible shooting. Ken Paxton has defeated George P. Bush in the Texas Attorney General Republican primary. So it's not looking great for George P. Bush. That's, I think, Jeb's son, if I recall correctly. Let's listen to a voicemail.
Hi, David. I'm watching your live stream about the midterms / shooting. I think that lady that was just on the Anderson show had it pretty right about talking about the how morbid it is to have to go identify a child because.
All right, I apologize for interrupting, but let's go to the Brian Kemp event.
Outside Houston.
We're going to go now to Governor Brian Kemp and his victory speech.
All right, let's give it up for Amy Porter.
Obama.
What a great night to be a Georgian, everybody. I think we need to start tonight by giving a big round of applause to the best First Lady in the country, Marty Kemp.
Please proceed, Governor.
Marty and I are so blessed to be here with you all tonight, and especially to have our 3 daughters with us, Jarrett, Lucy, and Amy Porter. We are so proud of them, y'all. Thank y'all for your hard work and what you have been doing. As you all know, we started this journey as a family, and I couldn't be more thankful to have these 4 Kemp-strong ladies by my side through it all.
So believe it or not, this is the slightly less crazy guy. Trump endorsed the really crazy guy who lost, David Perdue.
Here, they have been great warriors for us as well. Thank you, guys. Looking at the results tonight, it looks like Team Kemp has chopped a lot of wood over the last few months. And I will tell you, we could not be more thankful for the countless hours that all of you have poured into this primary race. The doors, the dials, the small dollar donations, the yard signs, and going to events. You name it, and Team Kemp has done it. So thank you all so much. And as we have always said, Team Kemp has always been built from the grassroots up, and this race has been no different. You have honored us with your time, with your efforts, and with your resources, but most importantly, with your belief in our campaign, and we cannot thank you guys enough. God bless you all. Thank you.
That it? No, okay.
Back when I first ran for the state senate as a local construction guy in Athens who was fed up with government bureaucracy, there were a lot of people that said I wouldn't beat the incumbent state senator, but I knew better. I knew that hard-working Georgians felt the same way that I did, that government was too big and politicians were not listening. And that's why I ran. Right. And I promised voters I would get government out of the way and ensure that Georgia's best and brightest days were still ahead, that I would put them first, ahead of the status quo and the politically correct, and that when I got into office, I would do exactly as I promised on the campaign trail. And because of a lot of people in this room, we won that race, and we delivered on those promises. In 2017, the same pundit said we couldn't win the governor's race. But once again, Marty and the girls and I, we knew different. You see, I had been to all 159 counties in this state, driving around in that green machine that Amy Porter mentioned. I know you all have seen it. And I slept on more than a few sofas. And we ate at just about every diner and meat and three that we came across. And I wasn't worried about what the political class had to say, because I was listening to the waitress at the barbecue joint in Rennes. I was listening to that dirt farmer in Dawson,
a
community
dirt farmer?
banker in Blairsville, and the people of Quitman County who just wanted a grocery store in their community so they wouldn't have to drive across the state line to get...
a dirt farmer is like a subsistence farmer who barely makes enough to survive. Okay, I had no idea what that meant. Yeah, it's a term apparently.
Communities and strong families.
They're not literally farming dirt.
And me, they didn't want more of the same. They wanted someone who would fight for them and for their values, someone who would put them first. Voters wanted someone that would look them in the eye and tell them the truth and then do what they said they would do.
This guy's insane.
So in April of 2017, I did what a lot of people said I shouldn't have done. We did what we felt we were called to do. And you know what? We were right.
Nuclear proliferation.
Since our family has been honored to serve you, we have accomplished so much. And there's so many in this room that I've been serving with that's helped us do that. And I want to thank you all for your support and your leadership. We have a great team in our state. No one could have predicted the unprecedented challenges that we would all face together. But we hunkered down and we emerged stronger than ever. And we stood up for life at the heartbeat. We cracked down on gangs and human trafficking. We expanded access to rural broadband.
So needless to say, I'll be supporting Stacey Abrams in the general election in November. It will be Brian Kemp against Stacey Abrams. And what an opportunity to knock out an incumbent Republican and replace him, in this particular case, with someone genuinely really capable, smart, with great political instincts, an activist, Stacey Abrams. So that will be in November, one of the many races that we're going to be following very closely. Michael says, can we hear Trump mispronouncing some words? Sure. I've got, you know, one of the things I have, which I've got to organize, is Trump mispronouncing Indian names is very good.
Swami Vivekananda, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli.
Namaste.
Namaste. Yes, exactly. As many of you might know, I believe Trump is the only president in history that mispronounced another president's name, his own name, and his own social media platform. Okay?
Then he went, Donald Trump, yeah, Donald Trump. Obama. Truth essential.
Okay. So anyway, unique in that way for sure. I think I missed another super chat here. Hold on a second. Is Trump going to endorse Abrams? Kemp is putting on his best good old boy voice. Is Trump going to endorse Abrams now? Yeah, right. I somehow I don't think so. But if he does, I will certainly let you know. That's for sure. Do people want to go back and listen to more Brian Kemp, or should we just move on and check on results elsewhere in the country? Do we want to listen to this?
Governor.
All right, we're moving on. Okay, let's get an update on the numbers. A very slow vote count happening in Alabama. Mo Brooks now at 29%, Katie Britt winning at 44%. In Arkansas, it's over. Sarah Huckabee Sanders has won. She will be the Republican nominee for the governorship in Arkansas in November. In Georgia, as we were just watching, Brian Kemp has won. In Georgia's 14th district, Marjorie Taylor Greene has won, and Marcus Flowers will soon win, and they will face each other in November. In Texas, Jessica Cisneros maintaining a 3.6% lead, 3.6 percentage point lead over Henry Cuellar per Politico. Over on CNN, very different numbers, but still stuck at only 63%. Has Cuellar up by 5. I think we have to assume that the results with 73% are more accurate than the 63%, right? It's kind of weird what's going on with these numbers, so I'm not totally sure. And then lastly, they're still counting ballots in Pennsylvania, although not literally right now. I believe that they have paused for the evening. David, do you believe moderate Republicans exist? Romney and Collins are considered moderates, but their record suggests otherwise. Well, they're moderate in their rhetoric, and they're more moderate, I guess, socially. I don't know. It's always a fraught thing, because if you name the wrong person, then you get attacked. You're like, that's not a moderate. You must be a radical. So it's always kind of a fraught thing. Other voicemails coming in.
Hi, David. Love your show. My name's Joanne. I'm calling from Montreal, Canada, and I just want to tell you what a tragedy that shooting is in Texas. I don't know what's going on down there in the U.S. We used to think that Americans were some of the kindest people, but I just don't know anymore what's happening down there.
Well, many of us are.
What I don't understand is 18-year-olds are allowed to buy guns and assault rifles.
Right.
But they can't drink alcohol until they're 21.
Normal
and
country.
Women no longer have the choice of what to do with their bodies. I
Sure.
just don't understand what's going on down there.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, I would stay in Canada. In fact, I haven't talked about this too much yet, but I'm going to be spending some time in Canada coming up, and a lot of interesting things going on. All right, let's see. Oh, Jen from Providence called in.
Hey, David, it's Jen from Providence. I don't know if anybody's ever mentioned this, but do you think the reason why Republicans are never going to care about the shootings is because they're usually wealthier and that their kids typically go to private schools or even charter schools? I don't think they really care too much about the poor public school kids getting shot.
Well, they don't care. No, I wouldn't say that, Jen. It is true that many Republicans have disdain for public schooling. That's absolutely true. But I don't think they quite literally don't care about the kids. It's complicated and disgusting, I think is the way I would put it, but it's a little more complicated than that. Sandy Hook, right. Sandy Hook was not poor kids. Very well said. A user in Twitch says, David, I'm a Canadian immigration lawyer. Definitely options for you to become a permanent resident in the country. You guys want to know something? I don't even know whether I should be saying this, but, oh man, do I even do this? I guess I do. I'm going to be vague enough about it that nobody's going to get in trouble. Okay. We all know that different countries have different immigration rules, okay? And there are countries where it's sort of like known, it's kind of difficult to move permanently to certain countries. I'm not going to name any countries, but we all know it. We all know just like you can't just go wherever you want. It's some countries are difficult to legally get a permanent status. I've gotten emails from immigration lawyers in 4 different countries, okay? 4 different countries. And I doesn't even matter what countries they are. But the point is, they said to me, listen, David, there's obviously the official rules, but I'm going to be really honest with you. Because of the size of your platform, if you wanted to move to X country permanently, I could help you do it and you would be able to do it. Because there's mechanisms, and I'm not even going to go into the detail that they explain, but there's mechanisms where basically like lots of countries, if you're going and bringing a business with an established presence, even if my employees wouldn't actually be living in that country, that there's all sorts of shortcuts, which to me sound completely unfair, quite frankly. What, I have a YouTube channel so I can move and skip, and it's sort of weird because arguably, if I just moved my American business to some of these countries, even if, okay, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I guess I'd pay some taxes there, but then I get to deduct those taxes in the United States. I don't know. Like, I might pay a little more in taxes total, but it's not like a terrible deal for me. And you know, whatever. It just doesn't really seem like that's fair. You know what I mean? It's sort of the same thing where like, I get free stuff all the time from advertisers where they want me to try products, or sometimes it's not even an advertiser. I'll just get stuff in the mail where it's like, hey, I just love what you're doing, David. I want to send you, you know, whatever. And it's like, it should really be going to someone else. Like a lot of this stuff I don't need. And it's the same type of thing with a lot of these things where once you get to a certain point where you don't need a certain thing, it's made very much available to you, where there's tons of people who would love to actually move to certain countries with good economies and get a job and really work there in a real way, rather than me, I'd be sitting in a room with a mic, if that makes sense. Some countries let you in if you have a certain amount of money. Yeah, there's places also like Portugal where if you just essentially buy a piece of real estate or buy a certain amount of stocks and bonds, you get, yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there. Okay, let's see here. Oh, people want to listen to a little. Let's listen. Yeah. Okay.
Remember the loved ones that were taken today, both the students and and I believe it was one teacher as well.
Yes.
We need to remember them. You know, we heard the president come on and say he's sick and tired of things, and I agree with him. But I think there's some more pragmatic things we can do to start moving things forward. And some of them, Senator Blumenthal, who's worked with us previously, has mentioned, which is the red flag laws. For those who aren't,
we're going to be talking about that quite a bit tomorrow. I'm being advised to check out Chris Murphy's speech. Let's see. Chris Murphy's speech about the shooting. Let's see if we can find it. Here it is on the floor of the, actually, let's see if we can just play it here.
There are 14 kids dead in an elementary school in Texas right now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Just days after a shooter walked into a grocery store to gun down African American patrons, we have another Sandy Hook on our hands.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Not much.
There have been more mass shootings than days in the year.
212
Our kids are living in
this year?
fear every single time they set foot in a classroom because they think they're going to be next. What are we doing? Why do you spend all this time running for the United States Senate? Why do you go through all the hassle of getting this job, of putting yourself in a position of authority, if your answer is that as this slaughter increases, as our kids run for their lives, we do nothing? What are we doing? Why are you here? If not to solve a problem as existential as this. This isn't inevitable. These kids weren't unlucky. This only happens in this country and nowhere else. Nowhere else do little kids go to school thinking that they might be shot that day. Nowhere else do parents have to talk to their kids, as I have had to do, about why they got locked into a bathroom and told to be quiet for 5 minutes just in case a bad man entered that building. Nowhere else does that happen except here in the United States of America, and it is a choice. It is our choice to let it continue. What are we doing? In Sandy Hook Elementary School, after those kids came back into those classrooms, they had to adopt a practice in which there would be a safe word that the kids would say if they started to get thoughts in their brain about what they saw that day. If they started to get nightmares during the day, reliving stepping over their classmates' bodies as they tried to flee the school. In one classroom, that word was monkey. And over and over and over through the day, kids would stand up and yell, monkey. And a teacher or a paraprofessional would have to go over to that kid, take them out of the classroom, talk to them about what they had seen, work them through their issues. Sandy Hook will never, ever be the same. This community in Texas will never, ever be the same. Why? Why are we here? If not to try to make sure that fewer schools and fewer communities go through what Sandy Hook has gone through, what Uvalde is going through. Our heart is breaking for these families. Every ounce of love and thoughts and prayers we can send, we are sending. But I'm here on this floor to beg, to literally get down on my hands and knees and beg my colleagues. Find a path forward here. Work with us to find a way to pass laws that make this less likely. I understand my Republican colleagues will not agree to everything that I may support, but there is a common denominator that we can find. There is a place where we can achieve agreement that may not guarantee that America never, ever again sees a mass shooting, that may not overnight cut in half the number of murders that happen in America. It will not solve the problem of American violence by itself, but by doing something, we at least stop sending this quiet message of endorsement to these killers whose brains are breaking, who see the highest levels of government doing nothing, shooting after shooting. What are we doing? Why are we here? What are we doing?
All right, there is Senator Chris Murphy speaking in the Senate earlier today. Crazy time. Crazy time. Steven says, David, do you still hold the very incorrect opinion that Granny Smith apples are the best? I do. Loved your very correct Satsuma Mandarin coverage. All right, well, I guess I could do something right there. Okay. I interrupted a voicemail earlier. Let me go back to it. Okay.
Hi, David. I'm watching your live stream about the midterms / shooting. I think that lady that was just on the Anderson show had it pretty right about talking about the how morbid it is to have to go identify a child because they're the only ones to identify it.
Mm-hmm.
I know this would be graphic, but I think they need to show it to the American people.
Right.
Show the graphic picture. Let people wake up to see what a little child looks like after a bullet rips through their head.
Well, this is one of the things that is different in the coverage of war in the media and many other countries. This was a big topic during the 2003 invasion of Iraq, which was in the United States due to a combination of sensibilities, probably to some degree, just kind of like people's belief about what people want to see, and maybe even to some degree, the FCC guidelines. In the U.S., you got a really sanitized version of what was happening in Iraq. I mean, what? Somewhere between 100,000 and 1 million Iraqi civilians died. Were there really graphic videos of that shown in American news media? No. No. In many other countries, I can say in Europe, for example, where I have seen coverage directly. I don't know about in Argentina. I'm just not sure. I just don't remember. The coverage of war is much more graphic. I would argue much more accurate. And support for many of these incursions is significantly lower. Not a shock. Not a shock. Yeah. Let's check out the Texas 28th data. There's a lot of people talking about it. So Politico still has Cisneros ahead. CNN has Queller ahead. And then I'm being told 270 to win. Okay, let's see. 270 to win. Let's see how this is going. Primary results. Let's see what's going on here. So we're looking at Texas. And we're looking at the 28th. Henry Queller. This is with only 49% in. Yeah, so I don't know, guys, because this data seems even more stale. This was with only 49% counted. Right now, the panel with the most vote counted is Politico, and that's the only one that has Cisneros ahead right now. So I guess we just don't know. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to keep an eye on that. This is from earlier. We've already seen the Joe Biden speech earlier today. I want to say thank you to Simon Reed for signing up for a membership and gifting one. Also, big thank you to Nathan Thomas for gifting a membership. So that's 2 gifts. It does put us at 67. Those free memberships go to, let me just load up my queue. Javon Bukaya and Oliver Payton are the recipients of those membership gifts. I really appreciate that very much. New York Times still has Cisneros ahead. Let's take a look at that. Let's see if I look at Texas here. Oh, I'm like not logged in. Oh, that's going to be difficult to pull up. Okay, I apologize. I take everybody's word for it, but we have different percentages of the vote counted. But the vote counts are lower on Politico. Oh, is that true? Let's see. So here we've got about 25,000 votes counted. Here we've got about 27. And here we've got about 29. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. That's a fair, that's counterintuitive. Lower percentage, but it's actually a higher number of votes. Okay. We are going to watch that. David, Daily Co's elections usually has the most up-to-date and accurate counts. Well, I mean, everybody has a different perspective as to which they think should be used. Yeah, the percentage is an estimate. That's absolutely true. All right, let's do a run through of the data that we have so far. So in the Alabama Republican Senate primary, only 20% of the vote in. Extremely slow vote count. Katie Britt is in the lead. Sarah Huckabee Sanders has won the gubernatorial Republican primary in Arkansas. Brian Kemp has won the Republican primary for governor in Georgia. And Stacey Abrams won unopposed on the Democratic side. They will face each other in the fall. Marjorie Taylor Greene has won, will almost certainly run against Marcus Flowers in November. And we are still watching a number of other races here. Okay, that's where we are at this point in time. We may or may not learn more tonight, but that is going to conclude my coverage, 8 to 10 Eastern time as scheduled. Tomorrow, we will cover these results. We'll cover the tragic Texas shooting and the vile, disgusting reactions from so many elected officials who are sort of taking the approach of, we can't really do anything to fix this, even though it's not happening in any other country. For some reason, there's really nothing we can do. And we're all out of ideas, even though we've tried nothing, which is extraordinarily depressing. Extraordinarily depressing. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining me, and we will see you tomorrow.